everyone. Lots of people out there walking their dogs these days, so I'm just going to show you a few pieces of equipment that might help you have that dog walk more comfortably. There might be dogs being walked that maybe haven't been walked in a while, or members of the family walking the dog who are maybe struggling to keep the dog under control. So the first thing I would say is walking your dog on a regular collar and lead. If he walks nicely on the lead, that's absolutely perfect. A lot of people change to using a harness, which you can see Cassie has here. Here, sweetie, good girl. And I find the main reason people start to use a harness is the dog is a puppy, he's pulling on the lead, the owners feel bad, the poor dog is going to hurt himself, so they start walking the dog on a harness. So instead of addressing the pulling, they've now made it a hell of a lot more comfortable for the dog to continue to pull. If you see the huskies in the sleds in Finland and the north and the Arctic, they are all wearing harnesses. It makes it really comfortable for the dog to pull into that pressure, lean into it and pull as efficiently and comfortably as they can. So when you put a harness on your dog and you attach it in the traditional way, here, Cassie, like here at the back, you're making it comfortable for the dog. And while it can be suitable for the flat nose breeds, or maybe any dog with an issue with his back or a health issue, absolutely no problem. Or a dog that has no issues, behavioural issues, absolutely, and he doesn't pull and he's quite happy on the harness and the lead, that's absolutely fine. But for dogs that are pulling and the owners are struggling to walk, this is going to make it more comfortable for the dog to pull and less comfortable for you. So this is a version of a harness that's called a front attached harness, which, as you can see, also has a buckle here at the front. So when attached, it actually eliminates a lot of pulling. Instead of the dog leaning down into that pressure, when he pulls, he's simply pulling himself closer towards you. Can also be used with a double-ended lead. You can have your harness on there and your harness on there if you like, or attached to the collar as well. So it gives you a lot more control and helps keep the dog beside you and eliminates a lot of pulling. So that's one little bit. Collars, I find a lot of owners don't know how to properly fit a collar. They fit a collar that is loose because they feel that, you know, any bit tighter might hurt or injure the dog. Once you have your collar on your dog, once you can fit 2 fingers between the collar and the dog's neck, that is perfectly loose and comfortable for the dog, and it just stops the dog from lifting it out over his ears. A lot of dogs will try this trick when they're small, they'll get away with it, there'll be a huge reward because they've gotten free from whatever they wanted to get away from, or they just, you know, had a bit of frustration and wanted to go and play. And then this behaviour continues, and the dog, anytime it feels like doing it, can just slip out of the collar and lead and be gone, which is very dangerous. So fitting 2 fingers is absolutely fine, and it stops the dog coming out of it. An alternative is what's called a half check, which has been around for years but isn't used a whole lot. This is a collar that is half material, and in this case it's half chain, but it can be half material as well. And once fitted on the dog, it's nice and loose and comfortable. Sorry, Cassie. And comfortable, but if the dog pulls, it'll immediately tighten just enough so the dog can't get it off. This should never be used to tighten to restrict airflow or to choke or yank the dog, but it'll tighten enough just so the dog can't slip it off over his ears. Once the dog stops his pulling and his frantic behaviour, it will loosen. So you're actively rewarding calm, relaxed behaviour, crazy behaviour, and any bit of struggling. It's not being punished, but just the dog is not going to get away with it and it won't be rewarded. And then when the dog is just hanging around the house, it hangs nice and loose, but you don't have the danger of the dog slipping it off. Your last little thing, if you have a dog that is extremely big, or if you with other dogs or people and you really need that bit of extra control over his head, a Canny collar is really useful. This is a version of a halty or a gentle leader you've probably heard of. But most head collars will attach under the dog's neck and you're yanking the dog's head from side to side. You might have seen dogs out for a walk and they're really going like this, or they're being yanked that way, which is uncomfortable. You want the dog to enjoy the walk. And also it will attach under the dog's nose, and it will also close the dog's muzzle. So when that dog is, you know, starting to get frantic or worried, immediately you're going to tighten up your lead, and immediately you're adding more frustration and stress and discomfort by tightening the dog's muzzle, not allowing him to pant or to act normally, and that's very uncomfortable for dogs. So most dogs struggle to adapt to that. This one goes on like a normal lead. So again, we'll take our harness off there. So you have 2 little D-rings here at the back that you simply clip onto your lead, and then this little yellow bit goes up under the dog's neck, and then all you're doing is popping that. This is Cassie's first time wearing it. She doesn't need to wear it, but she's a good model. She's not as hairy as the other 2. So when the dog pulls, you put a bit of pressure across the dog's neck, but as you can see, it doesn't affect her panting, it doesn't affect her mouth. She can open her mouth and be quite comfortable. She can hold a toy, and when she doesn't pull, it'll loosen a little bit. So this head collar is very effective for pretty much every dog I've seen out there. Is suitable for the short nose breeds, the bulldogs and all that as well. So bottom line is, if you are out walking the dog and for whatever reason you decide it's not working, it's too much hard work, there are equipment out there that will help your walk immediately. So ask for help, get online, ring your local pet shop. They're happy to leave a delivery at the door. I did that yesterday. So there's no excuse. Get out there and walk your dog, and then be happy to laze on the couch with you all evening, which is what most of us are doing these days. Okay, happy walking.